Hi, everybody. This is Amelia. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be trying something new. On Fridays at 4, I'm going to be going live on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@feministsurvivalproject. I'll be going live Fridays at 4 Eastern Time. And from February 21st through the end of March, we'll be answering questions, singing songs, and generally just having a nice time. I hope you'll join me. I am drinking peppermint tea, and it genuinely helps.
Yeah, peppermint tea is the bomb.
It's a known soother for the
Calm.
digestive system.
Yeah. So
We're talking about food today.
we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk. It's a really big topic.
We're going to talk about food in multiple episodes, different aspects of it. But today we're going to lay the one foundation, the one rule, really, that you need to follow when you eat food, which is listen to your body.
Period.
Which sounds so, it's so simple. But some of us find it really difficult to listen to our body. Some of us, I mean me. And the struggle with listening to your body is twofold. There's one, hearing the messages and understanding them. And two, fighting the urge to follow advice you've been given by external sources.
Yes.
We're talking about this today. It's really relevant because I'm recovering from COVID, which has trashed my liver.
Again.
Which means that my appetite is broken. I can't eat really any fat or protein or fiber without having pain in my stomach and severe digestive distress.
About which we will go into no more detail.
No more detail. Suffice it to say, I've been eating simple carbohydrates for a month, when ordinarily that's the opposite of how I eat. And I have been so tempted to keep trying to expand my diet because the world says, and you're sick, you need nutritious food full of minerals and vitamins and fiber. And every time I try to do that, because my brain's like, you should be doing this, so says the external world, my stomach rebels. And this fight between external rules and internal guidance is so much harder than I feel like it should be.
So here's us making, external guidance for food choices, but our external guidance is don't listen to us, listen to your body.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things we could say. And I taught college women. I have had to find ways to talk about nutrition, which matters, in a way that includes everybody without reinforcing diet culture.
Right.
So, we could talk about specific nutritional choices you might want to try and see if it works for your body, but that's not what today is about.
Nope.
We'll probably do that. We'll probably do that sometime when me mentioning foods does not make you feel physically unwell.
Yeah. Thanks.
You bet. So when we can talk about food, we will talk about different sort of ideas of how people are supposed to eat.
What kind of,
nutritional choices that may or may not be a good fit for your body. I want to start by helping people understand why, even though everybody listening to this has already heard a whole lot of advice and news stories about a study that proves that XYZ is a superfood and really healthy for you, and here's what you should do. The reason it's all, because they will say literally opposite things. And the reason that happens is, part of it is that food science is incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
And also, people vary from each other and they change over their lifespan. So you might read a thing that's here, try this. And you try it and it's great for you.
Yeah.
But also you might try it and you're this is terrible. There must be something wrong with me because this doesn't feel good and it doesn't help me at all in any way.
Can I give you an example of that?
Oh, please do.
Yeah. back when COVID first started and people were at home all the time and everybody was making sourdough bread, I started making kombucha. My digestive system had not been fantastic for the past year before COVID. So when I had time, now I was going to stay home and make my own kombucha.
Which is so good for the gut.
It's so good for the gut, and my gut needed some help because something was wrong. And when I made a lot of kombucha. I drank a lot of kombucha at home, like as hearty and as, you know, it's the thing that everybody was like, this is gonna be great. So that when I moved from Western Massachusetts, to Cape Cod, I moved my SCOBY like it was a pet, like in its own container to keep it alive through the move. And and then I kept making kombucha, and I was like, why does my gut not feel bad? My gut feels worse when I drink kombucha.
I should drink more kombucha. God,
so much kombucha. Turns out, kombucha. It's completely true about the microbiome stuff and all the like little yeasty beasties that
totally
live in
true. Yep.
But it turns out it's also high histamine, and I have a problem with histamines, and so like it was actually really bad for me. But I was only following this advice because the world said it, some external source, and my body had been telling me all along, this is
and your
not it.
actual like GI doc was not against you drinking kombucha.
Oh no, perfectly. It's really good. It's good for you.
It's good for
And
you.
I wasn't even drinking like the high sugar, like commercially produced kombucha where they're like, oh, there's a lot of sugar in. No, I was drinking at home, like I would put it with like prune juice, which
good gravy.
Yeah.
Let's cut me saying good gravy in response to Amelia talking about prune juice.
I don't think you should. Let's really words decide.
How about I say, okay, wow, instead?
Okay. Yeah. It's just, I would also drink kombucha and wine. That was a delicious
we made up a song about that.
Kombucha and wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the song. And anyway, it turns out I followed this external advice for like a year and a half.
Gee whiz.
And then
this isn't working. There must be something wrong with me. I should try harder. I should drink
try harder.
More of it.
Yeah. I was wrong. I did the same thing with lemon water. Lemon water was supposed to help increase my stomach acid. I had acid reflux because I had insufficient stomach acid. And that is true.
Yeah.
But it turns out lemon water also super high histamine. And made me worse.
Amelia is what we call medically complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the advice that people give about things that are going to be good for you, this is going to help you in your situation. No, it turns out no one in the outside world knew. And my body had been trying to tell me. And it took so long for me to figure it out because I know I'm supposed to listen to my body, but it's so hard to do.
It is so much easier to listen to other people's opinions about how you should live in your body.
It's so much easier to learn a rule and follow the rule. I love following a rule, but I have to listen to my body to find out what the rules are.
Yes, because the only source of food rules, and if you started listening to this episode thinking that we were going to like give you like food
diet
rules
advice
about what to eat, that's not what this is.
No.
I hope to provide some concrete, specific strategies for helping you to listen to your body. Because it's like, for me, as we all know by now, my body will not shut up about telling me what it needs. Specifically, after I have a migraine, it is a phenomenon that I can predict that I'm going to have some really specific food craving that my body is just like, there is something you need to help you get over the finish line of this migraine, and it is chicken tikka masala. I'm sorry about mentioning a food.
That's okay.
It is some specific food. And I know that that's going to happen, and I'm going to listen to my body, and I'm going to make sure it gets what it is asking for. And apparently, is it actually the case that people say that cravings are just emotional?
Yeah, there's definitely an idea going around that when you have a craving for a specific food, that's quote unquote just emotional eating. Whereas if you're just hungry and anything will satisfy your hunger, that's when you should really eat. That's real hunger.
Real hunger. So 2 things about that.
That's a message that exists, which is untrue.
Yeah. One, if somebody is pregnant and they have specific cravings, I feel like people are pretty comfortable accepting that, like, your body is doing this very strange thing that it will do extremely few times in its life of growing a human. So you might have some really specific nutritional deficits that it's going to tell you about.
I think you have more faith in society than I do, because I feel like if a pregnant person is having a specific craving, that there's going to be people around who are say like, "Oh, you don't need to eat that. You know what? You're gonna have to lose so much more weight after the baby."
Jesus God Almighty.
Yeah, it's really gross out there.
So the second thing I want to say about the idea of a craving just being emotional, emotions happen in your body.
Yeah, specifically, they happen in your
In your
literal
gut.
gut. Yeah,
Actual literal.
yeah.
The food that you eat changes your mental state.
Yeah, there's a dense network of neurons in and around your intestines.
Right. So and food acts as, like, it changes the neurotransmitters in your gut brain, essentially. So I struggle with the seasonal affective I have a situationship with the dark and cold, where being cold makes me angry and being in the dark makes me despair.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of the winter angry
you
and
live in
despairing.
Massachusetts.
And I live in Massachusetts. So I spend like a chunk of time just like trying to get through. And ultimately, our advice, in addition to listen to your body, is do your best.
Yeah.
And my best over the winter is going to include refined carbohydrates, which are known to increase serotonin,
Yeah.
which helps just to soothe the pain. It is literally pain management for me.
Mm-hmm.
And now that here we are in March, my body's desire for those kinds of food is like drifting away, like magic, because my body's responses are, my body's really tuned into the environment and like just is like always trying to let me know what's up with it. And the more I follow what it tells me to do, the better off I am. And like,
But Emily, refined carbohydrates are bad for you. That's what the world says.
I'm a trigger warning for the next 30 seconds. You know what's bad for me? Killing myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a harm reduction strategy. It is not incorrect that many people have long-term health consequences related to the regular consumption of refined carbohydrates, specifically sugar, especially sugar in liquid form.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get through January.
Yeah.
And January is 4 months long.
Yeah, it is. Truly.
So I'm going to go ahead and take that hit.
Yeah.
Of the potential for long-term consequences. This is my like practical tip. Listen to your body, do your best. And the reason people get so have so many feelings about food choices is that food choices, it's very rare that we're going to be in a circumstance like Amelia's where the food we choose to eat today is going to impact our health today.
Yeah.
Today. Unless you have a food allergy, it is really unlikely that the food you eat today is going to impact your health immediately. It probably won't even impact it this week.
Yeah.
So in health behavior, we think about behavior change according to like time scale. The analogy here is smoking, right? So the immediate effects of stopping smoking, I say this as a former smoker.
Yeah.
The immediate consequence.
PhD in public health.
While I was getting my
cigarettes.
PhD in public health, I was absolutely smoking because we are all doing our best with the resources we have available. And I was really depressed while I was in grad school, as are so many grad students. Anyway, so the short-term consequence of stopping smoking, like the immediate today consequences are I am very uncomfortable and very unpleasant to be around as a human.
What?
the 40-year consequence
Yeah.
of quitting smoking is probably, maybe, but not definitely, reducing my risk of certain really appalling health issues.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want emphysema or lung cancer. Those are not things I wanted. There is no guarantee that I would have gotten those things if I had kept smoking.
Mhm.
There is no guarantee that I won't get those things even though I quit smoking. So soon, we were talking about goals last time, soon, certain, positive. Like,
Yeah.
I know for sure, certainly, that I will immediately feel terrible.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, that's a lot of motivation not to quit smoking.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you gotta, like, really bear in mind
Long term.
the long-term consequences. Or,
Right.
like, really focus on, like, what are the positive, shorter term, like, my asthma won't be as bad, or I'll be able to, like, walk further and not wheeze, and I
Yeah.
won't laugh like a smoker. I won't smell terrible.
Yeah.
I will not be a profound hypocrite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I swear, one of the things that prevented me, like, after I stopped smoking, it took me 10 years to stop craving nicotine.
Wow.
Yeah. And I definitely would have started smoking again if I were not literally the director of wellness education on a college campus
Yeah.
where I lived less than a mile from the campus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, students would definitely have seen the wellness director smoking a
Smoking.
cigarette. That was like like soon, certain, positive. Like, I definitely would have received that negative sense.
Yeah.
It also gave me a lot of credibility when I talked about tobacco cessation. When we finally went tobacco free as a campus, I had a lot of credibility as a former smoker of being like, you know what? If somebody were sawing through a piece of asbestos in the middle of Chapin Lawn, we would not accept that, right?
Right.
It's Class A carcinogen.
Yeah.
Guess what's also a Class A carcinogen, right? Anyway, so
In terms of food choices, this is a direct parallel because most food choices won't make you feel better or worse today necessarily, but long-term food choices may or may not contribute to disease. But your advice for choosing food.
So my advice is to, like, so you take an existing sort of behavioral benchmark. If you grocery shop every day, you make a choice every day. If you grocery shop once a week, you make the choice once a week. If you grocery shop once a month, you go to Costco, you get one of those shopping carts that would fit 2 college students in it.
Mhm.
And you put things in there so that by the time you look at the food you have accumulated in whatever size basket you have, you think, this is the food I'm going to be consuming for the next whatever the time period is, and I'm going to feel pretty good because of eating these choices. Instead of thinking about eating for, when you're 70,
Right.
eat for this week.
Yeah. And then when you're 70, you can look back on the choices you made and be like, I did my best. I made the best choices I could
Yeah.
with the resources I had available.
Right. And the resources you have available are going to change a lot. When I was in grad school, I was broke. My grocery budget was minuscule, but I had time and energy to cook.
Yeah.
So I was making sort of mediocre nutritional choices because nutritional choices are very much a rich person's game.
Yeah.
But I had time to cook, which helped a lot to increase the quality of the food. Now, I have more money, but I don't have very much energy to cook. I really don't enjoy cooking. Like, I wish I did. I have tried. And I've found a couple of things that I don't hate the experience of being in the kitchen, but mostly I really hate to cook. But also I don't have the energy for it. So the resources available to you are different, but through these changes, I have always been doing my best. When I worked on a college campus, I was pretty low paid, but the food on campus was really good, and I considered that part of my compensation. I ate on campus all the time.
Yeah.
Mostly my fridge at home was empty, and I ate Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Bleh.
Sorry. So we're all doing the best with the resources we have available. What resources you have is going to shift as your life changes. And when you get to an age at which you begin to experience the health consequences of the nutritional choices you've made over the course of your lifetime, you'll be able to look back and be like, I was always doing the best I could.
Yeah. I was listening to what my body wanted. And yes.
And I was acknowledging the reality of my circumstances.
Yeah. So if my body needs sugar right now, even if it's just an emotional responses are valid responses.
Yeah, food is emotional.
Experiences that happen in your body. You got to listen to your body instead of what people say you ought to be eating. Believe me. Do let my suffering not have been in vain, that I can teach this lesson. Listen to your body.
I actually feel like we're not going to get into like what your experience has been, but truly, on a day-to-day experience for over a month now.
Yeah.
You have been wrestling.
I have immediate pain. I mean, that's we can just say that. There are other options for what might happen, but if I
pain is certain.
But pain is certain. Yes.
And even though it has been all this time,
every day I think I should eat some vegetables today because the world says I should eat vegetables.
Because they're good for me.
I'm sick and I should be eating nutritious food that has lots of nutrients in it because it's good for me. Except that it's not good for me because my stomach says no.
Yes.
I have done this so many times.
Over and over every day.
Over and over every day for a month. But also in my life with the kombucha and the lemon juice and so many other like
things that people say are good for you.
Things that people say are good for me.
And you are good at following rules. You're very obedient. I love to follow
rules. I love to follow rules. And no, it turns out that the one rule I should have been following was, hey, body, what do you need?
Which is so much harder for you. Hearing what your body needs is so much harder for you than hearing somebody say, here's what your body needs.
I wish to God somebody could just say, Amelia, eat this. And I would do it.
You have done it.
I would do it for a year and a half until
you felt so terrible it started to occur to you that maybe this is not the way.
Something new, some new rule I can follow.
This is
not
the
only
way.
Rule is listen to your body.
Yeah. And do your best with the resources available to you.
Even today, even right now sitting here, I know that I'm going to eat some rice cakes for lunch because I know that rice cakes do me no harm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel okay after I eat.
You're literally choosing a food that doesn't hurt.
That doesn't hurt, yes.
Physical pain.
And even now I'm like, okay, I could also have a piece of bread. I have 2 loaves of bread. I have a loaf of white bread and I have a loaf of like very nutritionally dense, high fiber seed bread. And I look at these 2 loaves of bread and I know which one I should eat. I know which one I should eat.
You know which one your body will feel comfortable with.
And then
there's like the morally just bread.
There's the moral bread, and then there's the tolerable bread.
Yeah.
And it's not a flavor thing. It's not a preference.
No.
It's a mandate. If I eat that seed bread, I'm going to have pain and possibly worse. And if I eat this white bread, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
And I think, well, at least I should put some cheese on that. Get like a little protein. And like every part of me wants to like do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, put like a bare scrape of butter and some honey on that bread. And that's as much nutrition as we can handle today.
I do believe that you and I have had this same kind of conversation about like energy levels, for example.
Yeah.
Like listening to your body and doing as much as your energy level says is good. And I said, you know what? Do less than you believe you can do.
Yeah.
Do like at least 50% less than
That's good advice.
You want to do, because it's not that your body is lying to you. It is that your body includes your prefrontal cortex, which has done a really good job of memorizing the rules for what you are supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And you are trying to hear the very muffled, it's like It's like your body's in the basement and it's like trying to yell at you.
Yeah.
It's pounding on the floor.
From underground, yeah.
Hey! Whereas, like, the rules are, like, right there in the room with you.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
live in the attic, but still, they're right above me.
Yeah.
And then when I eat the seed bread, my body's in the living room.
Yeah, your body.
Destroying things.
Yeah, right. So you know that, like, yes, I can hear the rules up in the attic, but, like, I need to ignore that and listen carefully to what my body in the basement is trying to say.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know that the immediate consequences, like, if I do what the voices in the attic are saying, I'm going to spend the rest of the day in bed or in the tub.
Yeah. And the accumulation of this has added up to, I have barely eaten any fat, protein, fiber for a month. And like, the thing that keeps occurring to me is that like, this isn't good for me.
Yeah.
This isn't nutritious. This isn't, and it's so hard to overcome that thought when actually I need to remember that the only other time we've done a food episode was during COVID, when our message was, you're an omnivore, you're a goat, you can eat,
You are a goat.
whatever, and you're going to be fine. And I need to remember that right now. I'm eating what I have to eat in order to not suffer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be fine. I can eat bread and rice for a couple of months and I'll be fine. And it's what I have to do. And I swear to God, it's fine. It's fine. I'll be fine.
It's fine.
It's hard to remember.
Does it help that it's just another example of doing the best you can with the resources you currently have available?
Right.
Like the food you can afford, the food you have time to prepare, the food your body can currently tolerate.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my liver doesn't work.
Yeah. Because your liver got busted up by COVID.
Yeah.
And your body's out of whack. So your nutritional intake is out of whack from what you would prefer, because you do have a way of eating that you know helps you to feel more energized and helps your body to heal. And like you have rules, and we can, like, when you are better, we can talk about like the experiments you've tried that have not been failures. Because there are things you've tried, advice that you followed that has been like, oh, this is a really good fit.
And part of the intensity of my struggle right now, as I'm sure is everyone's struggle when they go through periods of not eating in a way that is ideal, according to them or the outside world, is that I do know that if I follow this other set of rules, I feel better.
Yeah.
Right? So when you've discovered something that does work, but it conflicts with what the outside world says should work, it's intense.
Yeah. So not only are you not following the external rules, you're also not following the rules that you finally after desperate search, after a lot of like trying shit that didn't work, continuing to try that shit way past the point,
way longer than
that you should have tried it. Like the thing is, you found a thing, and now that thing is gone.
Yeah.
It is not currently available to you because you are sicker than you were.
Yeah. So, you're a goat. You can thrive on any food. It is fine. And listen to your body, not the outside world, even though it's so much easier to be like, oh, they're going to talk about food on the podcast. Maybe they'll tell me what to eat.
Yes. How many grams of what and which food categories and pesticide free and what's our opinion on GMO? Nope.
Listen to your body.
There are a lot of resources that are required in order to make a choice about food. One of them is money. One of them is time. One of them is the state of your body, because even when you are not limited because of disease, the advice, we've all heard all of the advice about
everybody's heard all of the
what
advice.
We're supposed to frickin' eat. And the confusing thing is you hear directly contradicting science about this, right? Like, and the reason for that, apart from the science being very difficult to do, is that people vary and they change over their lifespan.
Such that you and I are genetically identical.
Yes.
Raised in the same household, have very different experiences with what works.
The what works that we have finally found for ourselves
Yeah.
is very not. I mean, there's like some overlap,
Yeah, but it's
not the
not.
same.
And we don't even have the same tastes and everything.
No, not even remotely. I have a totally different relationship with like food novelty compared to you.
Yeah. I enjoy food novelty
Yeah,
quite a lot.
but you also enjoy eating the same thing every day for a week at a time.
For way more than a week at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a strange
Yeah.
contradiction.
What are you going to do? The point is that if you and I don't have the same success in finding out like what we thrive on food-wise,
Yeah.
then surely no one else can count on a set of rules that have been pre-established by an outside system.
Yeah. You can try all kinds of things. There's all kinds of advice available for what you should do. And the only way you can know whether or not it is the right advice for you is to listen to your body.
Yeah.
It will tell you whether or not this is a good fit for you.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to make sure we talked about is wishing this were not true.
Yeah. It would be so much easier. It'd be so much easier if we could just be like, here's what to eat. Go.
Yeah, here's what to eat. And the outcome of eating exactly this is that your body will be everything you want it to be.
Yeah.
Your body will change and respond to food in precisely the way that you hope that it will change and respond to food.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Yep. There is no study, there's no research, there's no science in the world that demonstrates that certain kinds of eating has certain kinds of health outcomes for everybody.
Yeah, significantly different from any other way of doing anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really like when it comes to weight loss, the actual statistical reality, many, many, many studies over many years, over decades, have shown that a person can lose between 5 and 10% of their starting weight and maintain that loss over the long term being 5 years.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what's realistic. So,
making food choices based on a desire to
change your body
to make it conform to an external expectation is just not realistic.
Right. And that's just for like regular people. If you are an athlete, if you are working out hard for more than 6 hours a week, you should be working with a professional giving you very specific advice for the very specific nutritional needs you have for using your body very hard for a lot of time. Intense physical activity for more than 6 hours a week, talk to a professional, a nutritionist. Because no advice that is general is going to come remotely close to like making sure your bones heal and your muscles repair themselves and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And sleep probably makes a bigger difference than nutrition anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the rule number 1 that will underlie all our future conversations about food. And there's so many aspects of food that we will talk about because our relationship in the world is we are codependent, right? We are an interconnected species. Our relationship with food depends on others. It depends on our relationships to others. It depends on other people growing our food. Like never in the history of human society has there ever been a time when each individual person produce the food that they need to eat. Like, no, communities produce food for each other. That's how humanity thrives. Because other people are free to do other things, like math and science, to advance culture and blah, blah, blah. Because other people are growing food and they share. Everybody supports each other in a community. So, like, all our food decisions are going to be based on what the world is like. And the world is a dumpster fire. So it's going to be, there's going to be a lot to talk about in terms of food choices. But today, thing number 1 is listen to your body. There is no perfect choice. Do the best you can with the resources you have available. And you're an omnivore, like a goat.
I actually really like in The Good Place, can you tell the apple story?
Yeah, there's an episode close to the end of The Good Place where the judge who decides who goes to the good place and who goes to the bad place in the end,
Played by Maya Rudolph.
played by the hilarious Maya Rudolph, she goes to Earth and like talks about how she's, first of all, she's like, they really don't like black ladies down there. Like, no kidding, man. She's like, even buying an apple, like where the apple's grown, what the pesticides are, like there's just no way to make a perfect choice. So even like this TV show figured it out. Like there's just no way to make a perfect choice.
Yeah. So don't try.
Even Rudolph can't make a perfect choice.
Perfect should not be the goal. We talked recently about goals. Perfect should not be the goal. The goal is whatever the time scale is with which you purchase groceries.
Yeah. You're going to do your best for that time
or
scale.
other ways. Yeah, you're going to do rule number 1, listen to your body. That's going to be difficult for the people for whom their body is like just whispering like it's an ASMR video versus like having social rules be just crowding out your brain. Like for some people, it's going to be really difficult to listen to their body even when it's in contradiction with what they've been told they are supposed to do.
Yeah. Especially when you're also explicitly told that when you have a craving, don't listen to your body because that's the wrong kind of cue to eat.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Intuitive eating is complicated. There's whole books on intuitive eating. There's whole workshops on intuitive eating. When I was working on intuitive eating, the thing I discovered, this whole like listen to my body thing, works really well until it comes to not eating right before bed.
Right.
And it turns out the reason for that is we had food insecurity when we were very young children. And so the very young child in me notices an empty stomach at bedtime.
Yeah.
And panics and gets a slice of cheese.
Yeah.
Just so there is literally something in my stomach so that she can be calm so that I can go to sleep, right? Like my intuitive eating is not going to be fully about like what my body needs in order to feel great. Until I have like fully profoundly healed the food insecurity of our youth. And that's okay. That's fine. Like that's a long process.
Yeah.
But like if that's valid, like that's okay for me to make the choice to just like eat something
so you can fall asleep.
So I can fall asleep. And
even though the research shows that if you don't
feelings are valid.
Even though the research shows that when you eat closer to bed, you don't get as much deep sleep. And I have found that to be true for me, according to my Aura Ring and my Fitbit, or Aura Ring, however you pronounce it. And my Fitbit, like I get more deep sleep when I don't eat close to bedtime. But you know what? Sometimes I can't go to sleep until I get up and take 2 bites of something. And then like that's the one thing that lets my body let go.
Yeah.
And fall asleep. But science says no, body says yes. Guess who wins when it comes to I need to fall asleep tonight?
Body wins every time.
Yeah.
And like you can know that it's true that you get higher quality sleep when you change this behavior. And also like again, it's about like short term versus long term. This is I need to fall asleep now.
Right.
I need to fall asleep. And so I'm going to make this harm reduction choice.
Yeah.
So that I can get to sleep. And yeah, I'm going to get a little bit less deep sleep tonight. And I can try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Harm reduction.
Yeah. And for those who are younger than we are, they may not remember how drastically different diet advice was, food choice advice was.
Oh, God, in the 80s?
In the 80s, like...
It was literally opposite.
Advice about what to eat has changed so drastically that when we are our age, we can look back and clearly see how meaningless this advice is because it changes. People don't know.
Yeah.
And the reason people don't know is because it's because of a lot of reasons. Some of them have to do with corporate greed. Some of them have to do with corrupt lobbying and government policy. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are so different from each other and just there is no... Science can say a thing is true that can be true at a population level and not be true for you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you are wrong or broken. And it doesn't mean that the science is necessarily invalid. It just means the thing that the science says is just not true for you.
And we don't even have to get into the part where the government's nutritional recommendations are written by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Right.
Not Health and Human Services.
Right.
The Department of Agriculture. Where's their vested interest?
Yeah.
Farmers!
Yeah.
So,
I have two, to conclude this episode about food choices, I have 2 media recommendations.
Oh.
The first one is a YouTube channel called FutureCanoe. FutureCanoe. He's a cook, and he makes funny short videos about cooking. And it's funny. He repeats this theory of how the ruling class has conned the poors into eating horse food.
Fuck yeah. Fuck.
Like, and he's saying it as like a joke of like, how come we all think we need to eat like oatmeal? Because the ruling class has conned the poors into eating horse food.
I mean, if I have not yet, I think I have already on the podcast done my We Are the Livestock, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe not. But like, this is a pretty much neutral, like, in terms of diet culture and whatever. Like, he kind of skews toward diet culture because he's not like what. It's just a funny channel about food, and like he has a series where he makes struggle meals from around the world, which is pretty entertaining. So I recommend.
Can you? I don't actually know what a struggle meal. Like, what does that phrase mean?
It's a meal you make when you got no money, you got no nothing. So
it's a broke meal.
It's a broke meal. It's a struggle meal. Yeah, like
because for me, a struggle meal is like I could barely get out of bed, depression.
Oh no,
and that's why I'm eating.
No,
the thing in the fridge that's available, like just slices of cheese out of the packet.
Yeah, no, a struggle meal is like you try to cook something to turn it into a meal, but it's just rice and soy sauce. But like you're like pretending that it's a real meal.
Oh, I see.
But people submit recipes of like how they've tried to turn, trash groceries into a meal. It's entertaining. And also like so relatable because like who hasn't been? I mean, probably there are lots of people, but I think a lot of us have been so broke that we tried to just like turn flour and saltines into dinner. No?
I started training as a health educator, including nutrition, in my first year in college. I have always had a set of standards about like basic minimum nutrition.
Okay, well.
So even when I was brokety broke as a grad student.
Yeah. Well, you might enjoy the Struggle Meal series. Anyway, and there's also a second creator on YouTube. The channel is called BlackForager.
Oh, yeah, I
her
love
name is
her.
Alexis.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just very entertaining. She's very informative. She just goes out in the woods and be like, this is edible. This is an invasive species. But you know what? Edible. We could eat that whole thing. And she's very charming and endearing and pleasant to watch. So BlackForager
and that's a skill people are going to need when our food system collapses. We're not going to talk about that this episode.
No, but we'll talk about it in the future. Anyway, too entertaining, light. Don't take it, especially FutureCanoe. Don't take it seriously. It's just, dry humor. Food-related entertainment that is not fucking diet advice.
I have a food YouTuber I follow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Internet Shaquille?
No, I don't know that.
Internet Shaquille is not a professional chef. He just really cares about like cooking and motivating people to cook at home more by talking about like strategies for making it simpler. The first video I saw of his was like, what cooking is like for people who don't know how to cook compared to what cooking is like for people who know how to cook. And he's like, pinch of salt for someone who doesn't know how to cook versus a pinch of salt for someone who does. And it's like a snow shower.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Fold in the cheese. I don't know. Fold in the cheese. This is the Schitt's Creek. We don't know how to cook, but we're pretending that we do.
Ignore any mention of nutritional anything. He's a very sort of like regular, but he's very good instructor.
Oh, nice.
Of like how to do basic food preparation stuff, and I find him motivating.
And of course, tasting history. That's not really about, but
Yeah, tasting
everybody knows
history.
Tasting History by now, right?
Everybody knows Max Miller.
Yeah. He's embracing his curls lately, and I find it adorable.
Internet Shaquille has a video called "It's Just a Steamer." It's a microwave. Microwave, literally a steamer. What it says on the thumbnail is "It's just a steamer," and the title of the video is "Microwave lobster is good, actually."
Oh.
Like that's the kind of cooking that I want to learn about.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
some resources, some recommendations for being entertained if you needed a way to be entertained around food in a way that was like less likely to be triggering of like, oh, the cascade of bullshit.
Yeah.
And we've really just got these 3 rules. 1, listen to your body. That's the most important one. 2, do the best you can with the resources you currently have available. Your resources, which includes time, energy, money, and the state of your body right now, are all going to fluctuate over time. And so your choices are going to change over time. And 3, shorten the time span for which you are making decisions. Choose what to eat based on what's going to feel good for you this month instead of worrying so much.
I think, and also, you're a goat. You're an omnivore.
Plus, you're a goat. You're going to be all right.
You're going to be all right. Go ahead and have compassion for what you need to eat right now, and don't worry too much.
Lordy Lord,
worry
the
too much.
self-compassion required just to like eat food and be
Yeah.
a person in the world.
Yeah.
I want to put self-compassion first.
And that's it for this week. Is that it for this week?
I think we like that has to be the starting place. It is so complex. I didn't even want to do a food episode. Because it's like there's just too many things.
It's because we're going to have to do 6 food episodes in order to cover all the things.
Yeah.
But this is the most important one, and this is the foundation for all the others.
How to live in a body that requires food every day.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. I hope some of that is actually useful. Yeah, I'm gonna hope for feedback on this one. Like, yes, thank you for this very basic yet not didactic permission. Really, this episode is about permission. You have permission to do your best, and for your best not to match somebody else's opinion about what your best is supposed to be.
Your best almost certainly won't match anybody else's advice.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for listening. Talk to you again next week, because this is what we do now. Cue the ukulele.
It's so much easier to learn a rule and follow the rule. I love following a rule, but I have to listen to my body to find out what the rules are.